Stokes law and terminal velocity. Let us consider there is a spherical object like this, and this spherical object is dropped from a certain height, and assume that the arrow mark lines are different layers of a fluid. Here the spherical object is drops from a certain height and flows through a medium. Of course, air is a medium here. The air medium is also acts like a fluid. And this spherical shell, while moving towards the ground, it drags the different layers of the medium. So there is a viscous drag force. There is a viscous drag force is acting on the object, and this viscous drag force depends on the parameters of the object like shape and size of the object, okay, and coefficient of viscosity of a medium, and how much velocity it falls down. This viscous drag force depend on the parameters like shape and size of the object, coefficient of viscosity of a medium, and velocity of the object. Okay, according to Stokes, the viscous force when a spherical object falls down through a fluid, the magnitude of the viscous force acting on that spherical object is given as 6 pi eta rv. Here r is the radius of the object and v is the velocity, how much velocity it falls down. Okay, this magnitude of viscous drag force is determined by the scientist Stokes. This law is called Stokes law. Okay, here there is a spherical object. It falls down through a different layers of a fluid. There are three forces acting on the object. The weight of the object acting vertically downwards, and the viscous drag force, the viscous drag force, which opposes the relative motion between the layers of the fluid. Here the viscous drag force, which is also opposes the motion of the object. Okay, here the object moves like this, and the viscous drag force acting in upward direction. And the another force, when an object falls through a static fluid, here the medium is at rest and this spherical object moves through this static fluid, the buoyancy force is acting on the object. The buoyancy force, it is the upthrust force acting on an object when the object is immersed in the fluid. Okay. Finally, the object falls down means here the weight of the object dominates both the sum of the viscous force and the buoyancy force. Due to this, the net force acting on the object is W minus sum of the viscous drag force and buoyancy force. From this expression, acceleration can be written as like W minus Fv viscous force plus buoyancy force by mass of the object. This is the expression for an object, a spherical object, when it falls through a fluid. Now, terminal velocity. Terminal velocity means when an object moves through the fluid in downward direction, its velocity gradually increases. The object velocity on reaching the ground gradually increases. At the same time, the viscous drag force is also increases. At a particular instant, here, while the increase in velocity of the object, the viscous drag force is also increases. At a particular instant, the spherical object moves with a constant velocity. The spherical object moves down with constant velocity. And this constant velocity is called terminal velocity. Once again, here there is a spherical object. When it falls down, it drags the different layers of a fluid. Due to this, the viscous drag force is there, and this viscous drag force, which always opposes the direction of the motion of the object. For example, when we move on a bike with great speed, the air force, the direction of the air, which opposes the motion of the speed of our vehicle. As like this, when an object falls through a fluid, the viscous drag force opposes the motion of the object. If there is a great speed of a vehicle, there is also great air resistance. Here the velocity of the object increases, the viscous drag force is also increases. At a particular instant, the spherical object moves with constant velocity. This constant velocity is nothing but the terminal velocity. At constant velocity means the acceleration is 0. By substituting the value of acceleration 0, it became as 0 equals to W minus Fv, sum of the viscous drag force and the buoyancy force, by M. On solving this, we got W is equals to Fv plus Fb. This means the weight of the object just supports the total upward forces of the buoyancy force and viscous force. Then the object moves with constant velocity. This is nothing but W equals to Fv plus Fb. At here there is no net force acting on the object. From this, viscous drag force can be written as Fv equals to W minus Fb. Okay, by substituting the values, viscous drag force is nothing but 6 pi eta r radius of the object V. Here V is nothing but terminal velocity, is equals to weight of the object mg minus buoyancy force. Expression for the buoyancy force is V rho g. Here rho is the density of the medium. Okay, by solving the above equation, 6 pi eta r v t is equals to mass. Mass is nothing but volume into density. Here this density is the density of that spherical ball, density of the body, into g minus volume into density of the medium into g. And there is a common term 6 pi eta r vt. There is a common term in LHS, it is Vg. By getting common Vg, it is became as density of the body minus density of the medium. Okay, by substituting the values of volume, the volume of a spherical shell having the formula 4 by 3 pi r cube into g. Here V is nothing but 4 by 3 pi r cube into g, and density of the body minus density of the medium. Okay, on solving this, we got the expression as there is a common term pi in both sides by getting cancel, and r by cancelling r it became as r square, and the expression for the terminal velocity is finally Vt is equals to 4 by 3 r square g into density of the body minus density of the medium by 6 eta by 6 eta, and by solving the above expression the terminal velocity is became as this is 2 times with 2 and this is 3 times with 2. It is 2 by 9 r square g into density of the body minus density of the medium by eta. This is the expression for the terminal velocity. Okay, Reynolds number, it is a just number and it does not having any units and dimensional formula. The value of this Reynolds number decides the flow of a fluid through a tube, either streamline or turbulent. If the rate of flow of a fluid through a tube is more, then it does not remain as a streamline flow for a long time. It means the fluid switches into turbulent flow either if the rate of the fluid is more, and a scientist Osborne Reynolds defines a dimensionless constant and this value tells about the flow of a fluid through a pipe is streamline or turbulent. Is streamline or turbulent. And the maximum velocity of a fluid, for that maximum velocity, if the flow of a fluid through a pipe remains as a streamline flow, that maximum velocity is called critical velocity. Here there is a term critical velocity. It means the maximum velocity for which the fluid remains as a streamline flow is called critical velocity. And this critical velocity is directly proportional to coefficient of viscosity of a fluid, and this critical velocity is inversely proportional to diameter of the tube, and this critical velocity is inversely proportional to density of the fluid through a pipe. There are three terms depends upon the critical velocity depends upon these three parameters. One is the critical velocity is directly proportional to coefficient of viscosity. Here eta is coefficient of viscosity, and rho is the density of a fluid, and d is the diameter of the pipe. The value of critical velocity depends upon these three parameters. The critical velocity is directly proportional to coefficient of viscosity, and the critical velocity is inversely proportional to diameter of the tube, and the critical velocity is inversely proportional to density of a fluid. By combining these from the above three equations, we can simply write that critical velocity is proportional to eta by rho d. By removing the proportionality constant, there is a constant term, it is called R suffix Reynolds number, Re into eta by rho into d. Okay, from this the Reynolds number can be written as like Re equals to critical velocity into density of the fluid into diameter of the pipe by eta. And again, this equation can be rewritten as like Reynolds number is equals to rho v by eta by d. At this equation, multiplying and dividing with velocity, this equation can be again written as like rho v square by eta v by d. Here, since we multiplying and dividing with v, here we multiplying and dividing with velocity, then we got as like this. And again, if the above equation is multiplying and dividing with area of cross section of the tube, then the Reynolds number is written as like rho a v square by eta a v by d. And this Reynolds number simply can be say as like inertial force by, it is the ratio of inertial force by viscous force. And observe, Reynolds suggests the different values of the different numbers for the streamline and turbulent flows. And observe Reynolds defines the values of the Reynolds number as if the value of Reynolds number is greater than 0 and less than 1000, then the flow is streamline, and the value of Reynolds number is greater than 2000, then the flow is turbulent. If the value of Reynolds number is in between 1000 to 2000, it means if the value is less than 2000 and greater than 1000, then the flow is ready to switch from streamline to turbulent. Okay, this is about Reynolds number. Poiseuille's formula. Poiseuille studied that the rate of flow of fluid through a horizontal capillary tube is concluded that the volume of the fluid flowing per second is equals to pi p r power 4 by 8 eta L, and this equation is called Poiseuille's equation. According to Poiseuille's, he studied that the rate of flow of fluid in a horizontal capillary tube is concluded that the volume of the fluid flowing per second is equal to volume of the fluid flowing per second is equals to V equals to pi p r power 4 by 8 eta L. In this, P is the pressure and eta is the coefficient of viscosity, and R is the radius of the pipe, radius of capillary tube. Okay, and the pi by 8 is proportionality constant. Here pi by 8 is proportionality constant. And this equation V equals to pi p r power 4 by 8 eta L. This is the quantity which is equals to volume of the fluid flowing through the tube per second. This equation is called Poiseuille's equation. And this volume of a fluid flowing per second through a tube, capillary tube, is written as like V equals to P by 8 eta L by pi r power 4, and in this The term 8 eta L by pi r power 4 is called fluid resistance. Capital R. Simply, the volume of the fluid flowing through a horizontal capillary tube per second is written as like pressure by fluid resistance, where the fluid resistance is 8 eta L by pi r power 4. This is the formula for the fluid resistance. Poisson's law valid for the horizontal capillary tubes only. The Pascal's law is valid for horizontal capillary tubes and through these horizontal capillary tubes the flow must be streamlined. The flow of a fluid must be streamlined and the fluid which is in contact with the capillary tube, it is must be at rest. The fluid in contact with tube is at rest and the pressure of a fluid at a given cross section is constant. These are the limitations for the Poisson's equation. This is about Poisson's formula.